Today on All Things 80s, 3 decades of X-Wings. Welcome back to All Things 80s. Now today we're going to take a look at the Kenner X-Wing fighter over 3 separate decades. So first up we have the 1978 original, then we have the 1995 Power of the Force 2, and last of all we have a 2004 trilogy collection. So I'm led to believe these later editions were cast from the same mold as this one. So we're going to get these opened up and see if that really is the case. So starting at the very beginning, this is the 1978 Kenner X-Wing fighter. Now I did have one of these, however, as you know, I grew up in the UK and my X-Wing came from Palitoy. And it turns out there are a couple of differences with the version the Americans got and the version we got in the UK and I believe Europe. Namely, the fact that the one we had did not have any electronics. There was no flashing light, there were no laser sounds. So this is, of course, a Kenner American version with the red light and the laser, which I've never actually seen in person before, so I'm going to be excited to get a look at that. Obviously this came from eBay. So the box itself isn't in the best of conditions, but it's all right. Classic Kenner box with the, you know, the border. And I think what's interesting is this came out prior to the release of the Luke X-Wing pilot figure. Oh, you hear that? So the batteries included, even though it does say batteries not included. So the seller was very kind enough to install some batteries there, so that's nice. Yeah, so it looks as if they've used the Luke Farm Boy figure in the cockpit here. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, I guess it was, I'm going to say it was my Christmas of 82, I think I got this. Well, not this, obviously. So it's been a long, long time since I've seen one of these. So this will be very simple to open, I imagine. There we go. And there are no inserts, unfortunately. It does have bubble wrap, though. And, the instructions. So these are classic Kenner instructions. So, discard the bubble wrap. So, what do we have? We have Star Wars X-Wing. Assembly. Apply labels. Now, of course, the one I had, as I mentioned, was the Palitoy version with no electronics. But it was the same white plastic. And it did come with the battle damage decals, which I point blank refused to apply because they just look terrible. Now immediately I'm seeing one major difference aside from the button for the electronics, and that is on the back. The one I had a very detailed cardboard insert. This one has the sort of mechanics have been sculpted. I think I like mine better. Of course, hit R2's head to engage the X-Wing, and this button to release. That's interesting because I remember on mine, it may have been defective, but I remember I used to have to press R2's head down, and then manually latch it in place. But everything else is identical. Now, as for the electronics, I don't know if you're seeing that light come on. Sort of classic whining motor laser sound. Yeah, I also had Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, which was electronic, and it made this sound. You know, it's neat the first few times, but then it just becomes rather annoying. But yeah, so this is pretty much what I remembered. Classic Star Wars piece of memorabilia here. So the whole point of this is to compare it to the later generations. So next up, we're going to jump ahead to 2005 to see how things stack up against the original. Okay, so here we are, 1995, and this is the Power of the Force 2. Now, I actually do remember seeing these in shops, but by this point in time, I was more interested in impressing girls and probably drinking. So toys were the last thing on my mind, and I didn't pay any attention to these in shops. However, I'm seeing straight away that they've also used Luke Farm Boy as the pilot for this. So given that I had no interest in Star Wars at this point in time, and I have no real interest in the more modern figures, I don't know if they did have a Luke X-Wing figure available at the time of this release. But regardless, we'll get it opened. The actual box does look pretty nice, although nothing will beat the original Kenner packaging. So we'll get this opened, and I'm going to be gentle with this because I won't be keeping this, so I'm going to keep it in as pristine condition as possible. First things first, let's take a look at the X-Wing itself. There's so much tape used on this. You know, it does look the same. Obviously different color scheme and whatnot, but it's actually pretty good. I'm thinking, do I want to open this? Yeah, I can do it carefully, I think. Yeah. So these look to be pretty much identical to how it was in '78. So there we go, and yeah, let's see. These are pretty much identical. Ah, interesting. But now, is this one electronic or not? I don't remember. Yeah, it does have sounds. Maybe I have to read the instructions on this. So, first things first, yes, I think it's safe to say that they did use the original Kenner mold. I'm confident that that is the case. Just check the undercarriage. Yeah, that's fantastic. This is a button here. Okay, we have a button down there. So, where do the batteries go? Because this is the first time I've ever had in my hand an electronic X-Wing, so that's something I'm not sure about. So put the old one to the side, and I've got a lot of documentation here. Can this be opened carefully? Yes. I think this one, I'll just cut the tape. Right, so obviously we have the sticker sheet, which I will not be applying. These are pretty detailed, and obviously they've gone for the sort of not necessarily battle damaged look, but a more worn look than the original did have. And we have, what's this? So this is more from Kenner. Now, was this prior to the acquisition of Kenner? Yeah, this is actually a Kenner product. I assumed it was done under the Hasbro name. So this is all what? This is all Batman, Crashback, XRC, never heard of these things. Here's Star Wars. Yeah, it's those bulked up figures. Never liked the look of them much. Now I'm seeing here they have Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, A-Wing, AT-AT, speeder bike. Now if those are made from the same molds, those might be of interest to me. Nothing much else here. Jurassic Park, not interested. I'm looking for instructions here. What's this? Oh, schematics. Okay, so they're advertising, I guess, schematics of the various vehicles, but they gave us one here. Yeah, that's actually quite a nice addition to the item. But so where the hell do the batteries go? So this one's telling you how to apply the stickers. Okay, I think I got it. I brought some batteries for this very purpose. So it does say use a screwdriver, but I'll be gentle with this knife. That was easy. And positive and negative. Okay. So it seems to suggest that when you engage the X-Wing, it does make a sound. Let's see. That's pretty cool. What about when you disengage? Nothing. And there was a button here. Certainly a lot better than the original. Yeah, that's not at all bad. And once again, wow, that's actually rather cool. This is actually pretty good. And I hate to have to say it, but this is a marked improvement on the original version. Despite it looking identical, color scheme aside. Those sound effects are really nice. And this canopy is nice and clear. Yeah, same seat, same everything. Yeah, this is nice. I'm a big fan of this one, actually. This one also has the molded mechanics at the back, and obviously I was going to say the jet engines, but you know what I mean. They're colored in. Overall, this is actually rather nice. Whether or not I would place this in a vintage collection remains to be seen, but I do like it. Very nice. Okay, we'll move this one to the side and we'll jump ahead to 2005. So we've now jumped ahead in time, and here we are in, 2004, I apologize. 2004. This is the Trilogy collection. I may have remembered seeing these in shops. I think I probably did take a look at these back then when I saw that they were using that classic sort of Kenner scheme with the border. But 2004 wasn't long in America and really wasn't into toys then, so can't really say I was tempted by this then. Get this one opened, again being quite careful with it. Hopefully this one will come out a lot easier. Should mention as well, the packaging on this is absolutely fantastic. Nice sort of interstellar background art, and You know, obviously, as I mentioned, the classic sort of Kenner image. Obviously, at this point, we are definitely in Hasbro territory. But yeah, I think of all the boxes, this is by far the coolest, and the fact that you can actually see what you're buying was a nice touch as well. Let's see. Right, finally. Okay. Now this one, again, seems to be pretty similar. Just drop these cannons here. This time, there's no electronics, which is interesting, which makes it more like the one I had originally. And the canopy has been kept down with this rather brittle rubber band. Let's see. Yeah, same mechanism to deploy the wings, same landing gear. Now this one has come pre-stickered. I'm just going to get these on, why not? This has a weird, the plastic feels strange, but that's not really an issue. Yeah, this one does look good actually, it really does. Now, so we have the original Kenner, we have the 95 version that's making sounds here. I've actually run out of space here. This is embarrassing. So anyway, okay. Just gonna get these all into the same attack or lack of attack formation. So this one, actually, well, I know why. So the original Kenner is the heaviest, but that's obviously because of the motor that was used for the laser sounds. Yeah, this is extremely heavy at the rear here. But it's amazing to see the fact that they have maintained everything exactly as it was in this one. So all three are identical, apart from the color schemes. Even landing gears are identical. This is fantastic. Now, maybe some of you who are more into the modern things can tell me this. Are there other Hasbro, what do we call this? Trilogy collection? Trilogy collection vehicles that are made from the same molds as the original Kenners? Because I'd love to take a look at those also. But this is pretty cool actually. Have to say, I'm rather impressed by these modern ones. The fact that they are identical, but are somewhat upgraded by means of color schemes, and certainly the decals on this one are very similar to, but an improvement on the original one. I honestly, going into this, I was expecting them to be similar. I did not expect them to be identical in every way. Actually, the back here. Now this one, this is the electronic one from 95, and this is the 2005. For the most part, the rear end is identical, but there are holes in the back of this one, I'm assuming for the sounds to come through. Yeah, and the back of the original didn't require that because of that whining motor that gave us the sound. Just going to compare this. Yeah, these are pretty much identical at the back. So Now I'm hit with a bit of a dilemma here because I only want one X-Wing in my collection, and I had assumed it was going to be this one. However, these two are posing a bit of a dilemma because they're absolutely fantastic. I did not expect them to be as similar, but in fact they're more or less identical, paint scheme aside. And I'm really torn on this. I don't know what to do. This one that's not had the stickers applied obviously has the superior sound effects, and maybe once the decals are applied, this one will look pretty cool. Yeah, I did notice that these two from 95 and 2004, these are pretty much identical in terms of the uses of colored plastic. You can see here, this area here is this sort of blue. They've used blue plastic to trim the cockpit, and at the back of the ship where R2 sits, and of course the original was all done in white plastic. But yeah, decisions. Okay, give me some help here. Let me know down below what should I do. Can't keep all three, so which one should I keep? I was not expecting this to be so difficult. Like I said, I assumed this would be the one that would be kept and the other two would be moved on, but not quite so sure now. So anyway, I thank you for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed that little comparison over the decades. Not really a great deal of difference between the three, to be honest, just the sounds and the colours of plastic used and the stickers. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and see you for more videos from All Things 80s.